The iPhone 17e just launched, and somehow Apple managed to make the most boring iPhone of the year. After months of leaks promising a huge change, people expected the budget iPhone to finally ditch that ancient notch and get the dynamic island. But when the phone finally launched, nothing changed. Hey guys, Lucifer here. Apple basically gave us the same old iPhone 14 design. Again, same notch, same 60Hz display. And that's why something strange is already happening in the Apple rumor world. People aren't talking about the 17e anymore. They're already talking about the iPhone 18e. Because if the leaks are right, the 18e could be the first budget iPhone that actually feels modern. Now, before we get there, we need to talk about Apple's strategy here because this didn't happen by accident. Apple loves what I call the feature delay game. They introduce a new feature on the Pro models, wait a couple of years, then slowly push that same feature down to cheaper models. But the problem is, Apple might have pushed that strategy a little too far this time. Think about the market right now. You can walk into a store and buy a $300 Android phone with a 120Hz display, a punch hole camera, and a modern design. Meanwhile, Apple is still selling a $599 phone with a giant notch and a 60Hz panel in 2026. That's not just outdated, it's borderline embarrassing for a company that claims to lead the industry. Which is exactly why the pressure is now building for the next generation. Because according to multiple supply chain reports, 2027 could be the year Apple finally reshuffles the entire iPhone lineup. The iPhone 18 Pro models are rumored to move toward under-display Face ID. If that happens, the dynamic island will shrink dramatically or potentially disappear from the Pro lineup altogether. And the moment that happens, the current dynamic island suddenly becomes entry-level tech in Apple's eyes. And that's where the iPhone 18e comes in. But here's the twist most people aren't talking about yet. Even if Apple adds the dynamic island, that alone won't fix the biggest problem with the E-series. Because the real issue isn't the notch, it's the refresh rate. Shipping a 60Hz display in 2026 is honestly one of the strangest decisions Apple has made in years. Once you've used a 90Hz or 120Hz screen, going back to 60Hz feels like your phone is lagging, even when it's not. So if Apple truly wants the 18e to feel like a modern iPhone, they have to change this. And there are already rumors suggesting Apple might introduce something called ProMotion Lite. Basically a 90Hz display instead of the full 120Hz version on the Pro models. That would be the perfect middle ground. But here's the part that could quietly become the biggest upgrade of all. The chip. The iPhone 18e is rumored to run on the A20 chip, potentially built using a 2nm process. Smaller manufacturing processes mean dramatically better efficiency, less power consumption, less heat, and significantly better battery life. So imagine this for a second. A 6.1-inch iPhone with a 2nm chip, improved efficiency, and Apple's already aggressive battery optimization. That combination could easily produce the best battery life we've ever seen on a standard-size iPhone. And if that happens, the 18e suddenly becomes a completely different product. Now, if you just bought the iPhone 17e, don't panic. It's still a perfectly capable phone that will last for years. But if you're holding on to something older, maybe an iPhone 14 or iPhone 15, and you're tired of that notch staring back at you every single day, waiting might actually be the smarter move this time. Because if these leaks are accurate, the iPhone 18e could finally be the moment Apple's budget lineup stops feeling like a compromise and starts feeling like the future. But the story gets even crazier when you look at what Apple might be planning for the iPhone 18 Pro Max. And some of those leaks are honestly wild. This is Guys Tech, and I will see you in the next one.